Hello, thank you very much for clicking on this video. I really do appreciate it. Today I'll be giving you my thoughts on the Beatles 64 documentary that was just released on Disney Plus. I didn't like it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you. No, okay. So, I here's my first thought. I seem to here's my first thought. I've got so many thoughts. Calling it Beatles 64 is bullshit. So yeah, calling it Beatles 64, very misleading. They should have done what they did with Die Hard 2. Just Die Hard 2, Die Harder. This should have been called Beatles 64, February, 2 weeks. I did have like high expectations going into it because Martin Scorsese's involvement. I loved his George Harrison Living in the Material World documentary. I thought that was brilliant. But to be honest, I found it a bit boring. Now, if you're one of my cherished American subscribers, maybe you're going to see this differently because it's very, very American centric. This documentary, so maybe you guys have a different point of view from it. But I found an hour and 45 was way too long. I was getting bald. I was getting bald. Jesus. I was getting bored at some of the talking heads. Talking of talking heads, right? So I recognised most people on it, and there was one person I didn't recognise. It was this person. And then they were showing pictures of this guy when he was younger, and it's Terence Trent D'Arby. So he changed his name, not in a trans way. He just changed his name. So good for him. Good to see he's still around. But yeah, I was like, oh my god, that's Terence Trent D'Arby. I like his only four good songs. So I'm sure he's got more than that. But yeah, I found all the talking heads to be a bit, some of them to be a bit self indulgent. Um, but again, I guess it's telling the story of how people felt at the time in America. I'll be honest with you, I watched like half of this movie and I was kind of like, oh, this is boring. Um, and then I came back to it. The reason why I came back to it because it was just there was something just nagging at me. It's like this must this must get better, and it didn't. I likened it to I'm sure as Beatles fans that we have come across many unofficial Beatles documentaries, and on those Beatles documentaries, there's loads of talking heads. There's like talking heads from people that you're like, who the hell's this? It's like a milkman giving it. Oh, I delivered milk to Paul McCartney, and I knew then that he was going to be the biggest thing in the world. Yeah, bullshit. So to me, this felt like an unofficial Beatles documentary, but then officialized. It's got Beatles music in it. Um, I've seen quite a few people, and I've not seen this myself, but people raving about a DVD called The Beatles' First Visit to the US, and it's got a hell of a lot more in it. And on that point, after watching Beatles 64, I thought, I'm just going to check out Anthology. So the third episode of Anthology covers this period so much better. It is mental how much better. So the fact that the Beatles Anthology series, episode 3, I think it's like just an hour or something, um, did it in a concise amount of time. Because, by the way, in the Beatles Anthology, they talk about it for like half hour. But this film, Beatles 64, hour and 45. Just like, oh, come on. Sorry, that was a lot of waffling. Hopefully you followed that, because I didn't. I did notice that obviously in this Beatles 64 that they did use some of the interviews from Anthology, and it was good to see that they were of good quality, and it made me think, oh, could they clean up the Anthology series? And then after watching episode 3 of our Anthology series, I watched episode 4, And yeah, there's I don't think they'll be able to release that anymore. there's a lot of talk about John Lennon when he used to pull faces and mock the disabled. So, but they talk about it like now. I watch it. I find it quite amusing. But these days, there's no way you could get away with that. So if they did release an anthology series, expect that to be cut out. So to summarise, I understand that this period of time was a huge deal for America. I understand that, but I don't need to be told that for an hour and 45 minutes of people essentially saying the same thing over and over again. I won't be watching this again. I honestly don't think I'd even recommend people to watch it. I mean, I've got nieces and nephews, and I'd love for them to get into the Beatles, and maybe this is the right vehicle for them. But I'm coming from a old man's 48 years old. I feel older. I'm coming from a different perspective, and so I didn't enjoy it. Maybe the problem is that Peter Jackson and the Get Back documentary just set the bar so high that anything else is just kind of like, oh, well, what's this? Oh. If you're one of my cherished American subscribers, leave your thoughts down below. Did this documentary conjure some, reminiscing inside of you, some warm, fuzzy feelings? That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share if you haven't already. Appreciate all that kind of stuff. Subscribe. I want to get 1 million by the end of the year, and I'm only on like 1,500. Come on, guys, we can do this. Thank you for watching. See you next time.